everybody to the Call of Duty Rec League. It is championship week here today, and it's me and Destin on the Bravo stream. We got Gold Premade South championship between the Floppr and the Mallards. How you feeling tonight, there?
I am just so excited. I have adrenaline running through me, as all these players, I'm sure, do. Two great teams in the Gold Premade finals here, and only one would become winner. So, great, really happy to see some COD action tonight.
I most certainly am. Obviously, we are going to be starting out on 6-star hardpoint to break things off. Both of these teams, nobody really finding a lot of time here, but we will go over the rest of the map set as we close out this map. Minnesota Floppr with a nice break to close things out there on the P1. The P2, however, Destin, is in quite the interesting spot. It is around where player 2 is, so Minnesota Floppr, they also have the rotation to this new hill.
Yeah, I definitely know where all the hard points are at. So, yeah, I'm going to be really great here in providing some great analysis. But I can say that the Minnesota Floppr did rotate quite nicely, and they kind of tied that P1 hill, which, you know, center of the map hill, you might just be okay with a tie, and certainly okay with getting spawns for next. You see Manitoba Mallards trying to collapse on the point. They're at least going to be able to contest it. Minnesota has some players waiting in some off corners, but Manitoba's able to take back the point. Now Minnesota is throwing a second wave at it. Manitoba just has to defend against these approaching Floppr players, doing so quite well, a tit for tat, pretty much even, but Minnesota, at the end of the day, remains control and is kind of running away with a little bit of a lead here. Only 2 hills in, anything could change, but Minnesota, if they continue to rotate as they appear to be doing right now, if they win their gunfights, they could be in a great position at the start of this map.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that hill kind of goes to show, you know, what people are talking about with that new P2. A lot of collapses, a lot of flooding, because you can kind of just outnumber the players on the hill and find a lot of those kills. Now we are here at the P3, which I think is a pretty solid hill. Minnesota Floppr find those first initial breaks. You're going to have Minnesota Mallards or Manitoba Mallards spawning on that bottom side of the mini-map. But J-Ski here doing a great job of watching the cross for a moment, but the Mallards still have some work to do to sneak on into this hill. They make it happen. Another big break. This has been a very break-heavy map so far between the two teams.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta point out though, Minnesota Floppr is doing quite well in like getting that initial break. I think Manitoba may have started on the hill, but they did manage to just kind of pry them off of it initially. When they get to hill, Floppr seems to be really in sync with each other. They seem to be playing off angles and pretty much covering anything that they can. But Manitoba, they've got some break power themselves, and they are kind of collapsing on the point at the same time. So them two playing as a team, but so far Minnesota doing quite well. Going to get the scrap there, but Manitoba has rotations over to next at that pool side. So going to be a pretty even game, it's looking like.
Most certainly is. Both of these teams matching up incredible so far. I mean, you look at the scoreboard, you don't see anybody having like an insane game. Nobody really having an awful game either. You obviously look at Manitoba Mallard side, you see Wolf sitting at 10-6 on a 5 streak, one off of that cruise missile, isn't able to find it. Minnesota Floppr are able to sneak on in. Now that pool hill has been moved just a little bit, so you can kind of stand outside of it and be in that hill. No more water battles, because if you watched the major today, I'm sure you saw a fair share of interesting water battles, to say the least, especially from good old Brezzy there in the Seattle Surge. But 87-65 here, 20 seconds remain on the clock. Hey, I mean, if Manitoba hold on to this scrap time, which it looks like they will, we're gonna have a tie game here through the first 4.
Yeah, a tie game here through the first 4. Only player number 3 in casual can stop that. C-Test defending points. C-Test defends it well. It will be a tie game as we go into P number 5. Minnesota Floppr, they want to be the ones to spawn on it, but Manitoba in the center, they're approaching the hill. They might be pinched from Floppr players on the back, although they do have their teammates kind of rushing through mid to reinforce them. C-Test go down in mid. You see now Mallards taking defensive positions. They're going to run into Floppr players, and 3 go down. That's 4 go down at the same time. That is bad news for Manitoba. Now Floppr has complete control of the hill. Manitoba now on the back foot, not doing too bad score-wise, but if Minnesota can run away with the rest of this point, that could be a really solid lead, especially if they have the power and the time to focus on the next hill. Manitoba not giving it up though, but Minnesota just winning the gunfights they need to defend it. C-Test changes that, gets onto the point. You have a Minnesota pinch coming in from bottom of the stairs, top of the stairs, and it's all up to C-Test. And C-Test defends it well. Minnesota still rushing into the point. really tight game this entire way through. Manitoba, no, both teams not letting each team get any second of time. They are contesting these points to the very last second. You gotta love the fighting spirit out of them.
Most certainly do. I mean, it's Chumps time. You got to play your best, and it looks like both of these teams are doing just that. Through the first rotation of hills, like you said, Destin, I mean, it is gosh darn close to freaking tied right now. Obviously, 45 seconds left on the clock. Manitoba Mallards trying to get this first initial P1 time, but the Floppr are going to break in for just a moment. It's going to be Zen on the hill with the help of Wolf right there. Big 2 kills from both of them, but you still got Floppr players around. They're going to be laying behind that bar side area. Nasty going to jump on up, get the 1, get the beat down on the 2nd. Can't find the 3rd, but still back and forth action here. Obviously, Floppr on that considerably favored spawn here as we go toward that P2. They are just going to have to hold on to it. They're going to want to watch out and try to hold that that top right corner spawn, because that does find you very quick routes toward that new hill. You see Manitoba Mallards clearing out everything, but it's going to have to be a quick break for them, because Floppr, they got a little bit of a lead right now, 10 points. That's pretty big for this map right now.
Yeah, it's pretty big for this map. Both teams now focusing on point number 2, but Floppr has a good defensive start here. Mallards just all kind of flooding through the same way, just pushing as a team in coordination. Some kills go back and forth, but Floppr down to 2 or 3 members. Both teams not spawning too far from the point. So it's really all about who gets into it. And Manitoba, they want it. They keep going into it, but Floppr just keeps sending their spawn players back into it. It's a 1v1. Manitoba will seize control for now. Flopper's not giving it up, though. No team is giving up a single second of hill time in this game. While Floppr is focusing on a P number 3, they're still sending people to at least maybe contest the point, maybe cause a little issues, but not for C-Test and Zen. They both get a kill, and they both defend the scrap time. Minnesota Floppr will still have the lead, though. They will have the rotation, but Manitoba is right on them as this next point spawns.
Fights here on new. You got to wonder if Pub knows exactly how impactful his life is in this current moment. He does go down to casual, and now the Manitoba Mallards push is going to be through this front side. You see Wolf 20 and 15 so far, having a fantastic game. C-Test goes down, the kill comes through. 3-on-3 hit here toward the point. The spawners are going to be coming up in just a second, but the kill feed's green for just a moment. They're able to break on in. Minnesota Floppr trying to fight back through this pool side. It's going to be a 2-pronged attack through the middle and that top side of the mini-map. The kills going back and forth per usual. It looks like Floppr, they break on in yet again. Like you said, Destin, neither of these teams wanting to give an inch on this map right here. 169, 163 as this scrap time is about to run out. But one thing you got to worry about here if you're the Mallards is this P4 is very close to this P3. So if you allow Minnesota to stay here, they're going to have a quick and easy route. And that's why you see the Mallards striking toward that old hill. They're going to find these kills, but the rest of the Mallards going to be at that bottom side of the mini-map. Minnesota Floppr have them exactly where they want them as the game's tied at 172.
Yeah, you saw the Mallards try to get over to that P number 4 area, but Minnesota was reading them like a book. Already had players there to defend it. That number 6 in Zen was on the hill for scrap time. Now you see him arch around for spawns. Looks like they'll get it, but Minnesota is doing quite well in defending the hill, although Manitoba trying to pinch them, but nasty is too nasty for them. 3 go down on the Mallard side, back to back to back. They're still spawning there, but Minnesota just has this point on absolute lockdown. Manitoba all coming from the same location. Now number 7 is spawning on the other side of the map, may be able to get a little bit of an unexpected pinch here. Manitoba, though, rushing into the point. They get the kills they need on the Minnesota. They take back the point, but Phantom is going to cause some issues at the very last second. Eventually, Manitoba will get the point, but inch by inch, they're losing just a couple of seconds on each hard point. And in this game, that's big. Minnesota, they only need a little under 50 points to win. Only 1 hill's worth of points. Let's see if they can get it.
Manitoba has split them out down the middle, but J-Ski with a big 2-piece to open things up to relieve that pressure for just a moment. They're going to be helping out in the back. C-Test goes down, and now it's Pub against these 2 Minnesota players. He gets both of them. Now he has that pinch toward the back. You got to wonder where the spawns are going to be at. 2 of those Minnesota players spawn in the U-side area. C-Test not ready for it at all, but the Manitoba Mallards are able to sneak on through. It's gunfights all over the place up front. Manitoba have them where they want them. They could tie the game right here, Destin. We are in for a fantastic start to the Championship Thursday.
We are in for a fantastic start indeed, my friend. Manitoba holding on to that point for dear life, although Minnesota can no longer win it there. Manitoba wants to at least tie it up, put some pressure on Minnesota for the next hill, although that next hill is going to be in the dead center of the map, the mixiest of the hills in the two rotations we've seen so far. So this is looking like it's going to be quite an interesting final few seconds. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets so mixy that we don't end it here on this P number one. But you see Minnesota set up, you see Manitoba opting to go around them, have players all around, but Minnesota gets an important kill. Two players go down, 2 for 2, I think, go down. Manitoba now breaks into the hill. Minnesota is spawning out, but they have time for a second assault.
We should have a lead change yet again. All of Minnesota Floppr are going to be coming in from that pool side of the map. Nasty playing their life so well right now. So important as they go down. The full push is going to be through the staircase side, and Pub's able to find 3. Can they find the 4? They do! We find none of them on screen, but you can see them in the kill feed. Pub with the 4 times multi-kill. That could be the icing on the cake. Minnesota Floppr, one more push to go. C-Tess and Wolf combined for 2. Phantom goes down at the bottom mid. Casual, the last player on deck for this Minnesota Floppr roster, gonna have to buy as much time as they possibly can, and they do their best, but the kills are gonna be coming through and should do it. The Manitoba Mallards close out map 1, 250 to 220 something, I'm pretty sure. Wow, that was a fantastic map 1, Destin.
That was a great map one. That was a really fantastic ending. I was gonna say if Manitoba's just saying contest that point.
Here we are, invasion, search, and destroy. We are gonna have the Manitoba Mallards on that offensive side here to open things up. You gotta wonder, what are they gonna do to kind of extend that momentum? Because I feel like, especially in these playoff environments, at the highest stakes here in the CRL, momentum is really everything.
Yeah, momentum is certainly everything. There could be just even momentum in the map itself. Search and destroy. How many times do we see some team just run away from it? Minnesota on the defense here, they will have their first player go down. Wolf with that grenade throw across the map. You could see Manitoba just kind of eyeing this B area and Minnesota trying to defend it, but 2 more players go down, Nasty and J-Ski. Casual's the only one left. He's going to come through Ice Shop. He's going through the smoke. He's coming to kill the bomb planner. He gets 2 down, but ends up going down in response, which was kind of an unwinnable situation when you're dealing with the entire team. But good on him for at least trying.
Yeah, and Casual does so happen to be the self-proclaimed best POV in the lobby, so he kind of goes to show right there what he's capable of with that quick 2-piece. Yet again, though, in the 1v4 situation, like you were talking about, not much opportunity to close out that round there, but good on to find those 2 kills. Kind of keep the gun hot, keep the vibes up. Minnesota Floppr lose that round 1. Manitoba Mallards now on that defensive end, and I mean, I really like what I saw to Manitoba right there. That double nade on that player back, what's it called? Back forklift. That can pay dividends in the future of the game because you're going to know, and you don't want anybody back there unless you got a trophy down in the future.
Absolutely. Shots going down early onto this round. They see Zen cross over to B. Minnesota clearly wants to take the bomb there, but they know that Manitoba knows that they're there. Now Minnesota trying to creep up this B side of the map, but it's a standstill. Both teams just looking for a little bit of a pick here. You see Casual with a grenade throw of his own, but will get nothing. Wolf in the ice cream shop trying to maybe go back to Palace, check her out A, but Minnesota just trying. Pub gets that finally gets a pick onto a Minnesota player. Now Minnesota reassessing their strategy, maybe going towards this A bomb side, maybe feeling a little bit more comfortable there. But just as they do that, Manitoba also wraps around and meet them. Casual, the self-proclaimed best POV, goes down in the middle of the map. Minnesota in trouble, 2 players down.
23 seconds left on the clock. You got to get this bomb down. And who is that? That's going to be Zen right there in the creddy spot. Not sure J-Ski knows exactly what's going on, and Zen's able to pick up that final kill right there. Manitoba put a 2nd 1 on the board. Zen 3-1 so far. Just a reminder to everybody, once we get into the round, the scoreboard is going to be broken, so you won't have exactly the knowledge that you would like to have on how many kills or deaths a player has. But if I do remember correctly, the kills and deaths in the bottom right are going to be correct. As you can see, Fanto right here, 0-1 on the scoreboard, 0-2 in reality. So keep that in mind, everybody in chat. Pub here on a 3-kill streak, working toward that cruise missile. And me and you both know just exactly how powerful those can be, especially in an S&D environment on a map like Invasion.
Absolutely. Manitoba on the offense again. If they can win a second offense, that's going to be huge for them. 2 in a row so far. Again, starting off quiet. Manitoba eyeing this A side of the map. They have J-Ski watching it. They're going to have to deal with him. A little bit of a split out of Manitoba, actually. Maybe trying to get information from both sides. They see J-Ski. J-Ski's trying to deal with them, throw a grenade over, but otherwise, a pretty quiet start as both teams decide how they want to play this. Manitoba reaching over to A side of the map, trying to get past J-Ski, but the smoke goes out. Zen probably goes for the plan here. You got a player in Minnesota in the mid trying to watch that kind of P1 area, but if he turns around, he might be able to catch the player. Doesn't see him, actually. He puts his sights right on the bomb. Doesn't see that player sticking out. Is able to get that kill, though. Minnesota, now on the back foot, need to defuse.
Casual drops the smoke of his own. Fanto picks up another one on the other side of the map. Now a 2v3 situation. Make it a 1v3 fours. Then how many can they find? They don't find any as Casual picks up the final kill. Big bounce back round right there for the Minnesota Floppr. I was worried for a second because it looked like to me, as they smoked out the bridge side of the map and pushed up toward that A bomb, that Minnesota wasn't necessarily reading into it as they necessarily should. I feel like as soon as you see that smoke go down, you got to know it's an A push through that long side of the map, but Casual wasn't necessarily ready for it. Was able to pick up one and then play their life, which was so important in that moment. Got to get one on the board. Can't go down 3-0, especially in search and destroy. Now you go back on that offensive side. Got the trophies to your name, and it looks like they are going to be trying to at least pressure towards B-side off the break. In Manitoba, there is nobody home over there, so they kind of have a free route right now.
Free route. Manitoba just kind of full sends A. Now they're kind of wondering where everybody is. You still have J-Ski on that A side of the map, but Minnesota, they're going for B. They don't realize that nobody's here. Trying to push up a little bit, try to get any information, but Manitoba is just so far away. It's going to be hard shots to hit. Manitoba also watching mid. J-Ski hasn't moved pretty much an inch since she got to that A position. Maybe trying to catch a Manitoba player flanking, but you see number 4 and Zen, instead of flanking, goes to an A side of the map. Manitoba has pretty much everything locked down except for the B bomb site, although they're getting close. Both teams approaching it. That number 8 in J-Ski might be a problem, though, if he doesn't get caught out by number 1 in pub here, but Casual goes down in the process. That bomb carrier, they know where the bomb is, but they also got to deal with J-Ski. That bomb's going down. Zen hiding in dark, probably going to peek out. Bomb goes down. And Manitoba just kind of all over the place here. J-Ski finally attacks. Phantom finally also attacks to combine for 2. It's 2v1. It's all up to Wolf. And Minnesota just defending the bomb pretty well.
Yeah, and J-Ski really is everything there in that situation. They kind of had an idea that something was going on. You could see those arrows kind of looking around like somebody snuck through, but we don't know exactly where. Wolf in the 1v2 scenario, we've seen this sort of situation so many times. They're going to go down. Minnesota Floppr close out that round. But as I was saying, J-Ski just causing so much chaos in that back of the map. You kind of pull 2 arrows towards you, and then you're able to pick up 2 off the back of it. So great job out of J-Ski right there to find 2, allows teammates to get that bomb down, and Minnesota Floppr close out another round. Now we're switching sides, obviously. The Minnesota Floppr have a defensive opportunity to kind of take the lead here in this map, which I feel like they kind of need to kind of sway the game back into their favor right now, because obviously Manitoba up 1-0 in the series. We were talking about it before. You don't want to let them catch too much steam because they could potentially be a freight train that doesn't feel like stopping.
Absolutely. See Manitoba creeping towards the B side of the map, playing their field actually in their back line. Bomb carries a B side, but Minnesota's not going to make the same mistake. They have both sides defended well. See, interestingly enough, the Manitoba was kind of pooling around that A side of the map. We might see a rotation here out of Wolf, coming down the treehouse steps, going through the back spawn. I think he's getting information from his teammates that A seems clear, at least that bridge area, no shots coming from there. You suspect, Manitoba suspects that there might be some players hiding in the middle area. Zen peeks, he gets instantly punished in Cafe, and Manitoba, they're on A bomb, but they've got some gunfights to win if they want to get that bomb down.
Those fights and trades all over the place. They simplify into a 3-3 situation. Wolf trying to kind of pick up on where Casual ran off to, but the answer is right in that field side area. Casual gives away his information. They do find the kill onto him. Now that smoke is going to be perfectly placed. They should be able to put that bomb down for free with 13 seconds left. Pub able to pick up Nasty on that pinch. Now Phanto left all alone. The shots are in. They know where he is. There's 3 Manitoba Mallards honed into his position. It's going to be real hard to get out of this sticky situation. 31 seconds left on the clock. You're going to have to World Star somebody. You are able to find the first. There's still so much work left to do, especially with both these players. Kind of locked in on you on some very strong positions. Wolf puts in some shots. Phanto going to have to fry him down. Unable to do so with 16 seconds left on the clock. It looks like the Manitoba Mallards are going to sneak away with this one.
Those look like that's the case. Phantom staying alive quite well towards the end there, just kind of triggering gunfights out of pretty much every Minnesota member, or sorry, every Manitoba member at that end there, getting some shots back and forth and only going down towards the end. The clock was definitely their biggest enemy there. They knew they had to do something, force them to kind of come around right into Manitoba's hands, but Phantom did a good job of trying to get some picks from afar. Now Minnesota on the offensive side definitely don't want to go down 4-2. We'll see what they could do here.
Let's see what they can do indeed. 3-2 now is the count. Manitoba does put some players over on that B side of the map. This time around, it looks like Zen has snuck through. I'm not sure they have the knowledge where he is. Phantom, though, definitely spotted him. Now they can maybe isolate Zen and get that big first blood. Zen needs to sneak away here, but it's such a tall task. Such a tall order. It looks like J-Ski's got him. Dead to rights, able to find that first blood, and that's a big one in the grand scheme of things. Now you can kind of go wherever you want with that man advantage. They do opt to go toward mid. They might be able to get this bomb down in A, right under Wolf's nose.
Yeah, dogs, they have great scent, but Wolves, I guess maybe not so much. Minnesota right under his nose, gets that bomb down. Manitoba's already on the back foot, has a player down. You see them trying to maybe get towards that middle section. Pub creeps out, gets Phantom, maybe going dark here, trying to get a lay of the land from the side, but Nasty picks him right off. Manitoba now 2 members to Minnesota's 3. They see the bomb, they see a player on the bomb, they still gotta defuse it. They have about 10 seconds left. Minnesota just up to Casual. He's going to have to win some gunfights here, but goes down in Cafe. Manitoba, a perfect diffuse creep there, just taking Minnesota down 1 by 1 and walking away with the defensive round.
And an unbelievable 2-piece there by C-Test. I'm not sure what was going on that Minnesota side of things, but it seemed like that player on A-Bomb thought that the street was safe. But that was truly not the case. C-Test playing on that Jersey wall hedge, which finds 2 right there miraculously and swings the round back into the Manitoba Mallards' favor. And if you're Minnesota, that is most definitely a round that you want back. That could make the difference here in this map too. And hey, I mean, when you give a team in Chumps an inch, they will take a mile, and that's how it always is, no matter what division you're playing in. And in gold, it is kind of multiplied by 3 or 4, I would say. That's just kind of the way it goes. But Manitoba Mallards stacked up over on this B side. Casual gets Renetti'd. I mean, that's a pistol, everybody.
That is a pistol, everybody. Minnesota immediately going down, immediately feeling the pressure, down in the series, down in the map. They're going to have to defend this B-side well. They know they're all over here, but Nasty tries to peek through dark, gets cut down. Phantom is trying to catch in this dark corner, this construction corner, but Manitoba is just coming in as a team. You have to deal with all 4 of them. That's just not going to happen if you're single playing it. J-Ski did last a man up. He gets a kill, but the Manitoba member from Ice Cream just opens the door and just unloads. Manitoba up 5-2. Map point Minnesota. They've got to win 4 in a row to avoid going down 2 in the series.
The teamwork was there. That is most certainly the case. I mean, everybody, on another note, everybody wants to talk about how OP the rival is, and it is a pretty good gun, but gosh darn, if this Renetti isn't unbelievable, that is insane. what we saw for the first blood of that round, but let's forget about it, everybody. 5-2. I mean, Manitoba Mallards, it has been sort of a tumbleweed effect. As this game goes on, they only grow in power. Now it's 5-2, potentially to go up 2-0 in the championship final. Trades back and forth. C-Test was on a 5 for just a moment. Pretty sure they don't find that kill streak. Shots are in, but Nasty is there. The bomb should be going down. Minnesota Floppr. They're not ready to lose just yet. They got some fight in them.
Manitoba developing the pinch here. Phantom goes down. That pinch is going to come from both sides. Minnesota just kind of back to back watching it. Minnesota just casual up. Nasty goes down. Now Manitoba has the man advantage. Casual needs to check the bomb. Manitoba just brings him down. They get the defuse. They get the map. They go up 2-0 in the series. A nearly perfectly played S&D working as a team and just sealing the deal on that map number 2.
Manitoba Mallards showing why they got so far on Karachi control. Sorry about the quick intermission. Had to figure some things out, but everybody's all good now. Manitoba Mallards up 2-0 in the series at championship point, you could say. But Minnesota Floppr, of course, not out of it yet, because don't forget, Destin, if you win map 3, you win the series 75% of the time, no matter what.
That is a crazy statistic, Jake. I am so glad you said that. I just missed a complete mowdown by Minnesota on this A point, as they will now get the second pick. Minnesota sending Manitoba back to their spawns. Manitoba now focusing on that B, maybe trying to pry that last Minnesota member off of A, but Wolf goes down. Pub is the only one looking at A. You might as well just give it up. And now the focus is back on B. Minnesota's already attacking it, already getting a kill onto Zen. That break might have helped them, because they are absolutely frying here, getting all the kills that they need to. They're going to have to deal with Manitoba in the backside of this hill, though. You see them going around maybe for a pinch between the side and the back doors. J-Ski, the only one alive on B, eventually goes down. It's a reset on the map as Minnesota now going to have a second try at this B hill.
An absolutely electric start out of Minnesota, as you were alluding to. They have the opportunity to kind of run away with this round 1. Casual sneaks behind everybody, is able to find 2. There's 3 down on the map right now. You see Minnesota flooding toward that B point. Wolf still alive, though, and they have not accounted for him. He's going to be able to find 1. Can he find the second? No, he can't. As Nasty picks up 2 big ones right there. Stack the point. Word to Gyms is not in their vocabulary. You only got 1 player on the point now, as Nasty is able to finally make it happen. You see the Minnesota Floppr, 1 tick on the board. They got 3 players on that point. They have stacked the point. Word to Gyms. Can they find the kills? They do. Round 1 goes their way.
Wow, Minnesota is pissed. They came out and just started frying. It was a complete John Wick movie on the map. Minnesota just playing completely in sync, just working as a team, and very crucially, something that we may not have seen in the first 2 maps, they're getting the important kills all of the time. Minnesota played that extremely well. If they can execute on this defense, it's looking good for them in the map.
Great start for them. Like you said, they were pissed. They didn't want to take that break, but they had to. Now they're back. They've shut down Zen completely. 0-5 from him. Wolf 1-5. Gonna have to pick that up in the round 2, and I'm sure they will. J-Ski, though, picking up where he left off. 7-2 right now, playing his life, potentially on... I mean, you got 2 players on a 5. Nasty is gonna go down, but Phantom still around. Could potentially get that 6th. The cruise missile so powerful now that there is no trophies to worry about. J-Ski casually on a 4 streak as well. Minnesota Floppr looking like a different team ever since that reset.
Looking like a different team. They're going to have to look over at B, though. Manitoba has a single person on it, at least stopping the clock. That's good for them, but Zen gets an important kill. He's going to be able to get the first tick at B. You see Manitoba shift their strategy to going towards B. They get a kill on the Phantom, and that seals the deal for a stack to happen. J-Ski, the last one who can maybe even contest it. 3 Manitoba members. I'll be damned if they don't get this kill. J-Ski contested long enough, though, for Nasty to show up as well, and now Minnesota is on the hill. Manitoba didn't close it out fast enough. They're getting kills, but Pub is the only one left. They will eventually get on that point. Minnesota now putting all their hopes and dreams for winning this round into their A point.
They're gonna have to chalk the point, not word to Gyms. Maybe chalk the point, word to Shio. Minnesota Floppr gonna have to focus on this A point like you were talking about, and they have taken that bottom side of the mini-map. Phantom at that top third, such a powerful area to be, especially in a situation like this. You have to find a few kills, maybe try to put them in a spawn trap. The life count still in the favor of the Manitoba Mallards for the time being, but that could change at a moment's notice. Casual, aka the best POV in the lobby, self-proclaimed of course, looking for any players he can find, but I mean, all he's seeing is ghosts. Manitoba Mallards doing a great job of avoiding him, but they've yet to get a lot of progress here on this A point.
Yet to get a lot of progress, but they are certainly going at it right now. They have 3 members on its center, but Minnesota is surrounding it. They're getting the kills. They're shooting into the point. You have Wolf, the last person standing on the hill, but Minnesota is right back on it on the defense. Wolf is defending from the point. Zen helps him out. Phantom, though, responding on the Zen. Manitoba is doing enough just to bleed some time onto that hill. That second tick is coming in. Minnesota is there, but they're getting cut down. Nasty finally responds on the pub, but you gotta get Wolf on the point. You gotta contest it. Wolf about to get that third point. Minnesota, they could get there in time if they rush it. Maybe not. Manitoba takes the offense. They respond with another offensive win to make this map 3 tied up.
Oh.
Well, it's late. I'm tired. I'm tired.
Don't worry about it. I mean, that just takes all the wind to your sails now, doesn't it? Especially if you're Minnesota Floppr. I mean, you win the round 1, you're like, all right, guys, let's go. We're back in this bad boy. And then the Manitoba Mallards turn around, they get that B point, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, Destin? That's just the way it goes, especially on control. But now you have an opportunity to do the impossible, win another offense, which wouldn't be the first time. It's not the craziest thing that could happen, especially in a Chumps environment when everything is, you know, heightened. Everything's a little bit crazier than it is regularly. We're just going to have to see the Minnesota Floppr turn up because I don't want to see the series end here. I want a good championship matchup, and we did get that in the map 1, but map 2 definitely did not deliver on that front. Minnesota Floppr, though, they're making quick work of this A.
Yeah, Minnesota right back on their offensive dominance, getting that 8 point right quick. Manitoba, they have a player from behind. We'll get a 2-piece onto some stragglers at A, but now Minnesota is focused on B. You see number 1 in Phantom going through the spawn, going to be Dubster. He might be able to get this kill on the C test. That would be a very important kill in opening up this B side for his team. He does get it. Now it's Minnesota. Be able to collapse. If they're able to get these players through the alleyways, might be lights out, but Manitoba is just reading them quite well. You have Phantom defending the point, but he goes down. Manitoba secures control again, and B is anyone's game.
Yeah, and those 2 gunfights right there, Ali kind of pointed it out that they go the other way, anything can happen, but so impactful. They both get won by the Manitoba Mallards, and the Minnesota Floppr kind of gets stifled right there, but they're still alive, of course. 20-24 is the life count, and Minnesota Floppr got a lot of time to work with, 1:33 to be exact. Manitoba Mallards playing this quite well, though. Wolf on the 3 streak, the trades are perfect. Minnesota Floppr yet to really get out of their spawn ever since they get shut down. Manitoba on a pretty high collective kill streak.
Yeah, Manitoba is just being fed in that bottom red area. Minnesota now doesn't want to go through bottom red. They'll go through the bus trying to flank that bottom red from behind. Wolf gets cut down. Now Minnesota has a little bit of clearance to approach, but Manitoba, 3 players on the point. Minnesota rushes up and gets shut down immediately. C-test on the back line. You've got players inside the point. Manitoba is not letting this one go. Minnesota are quickly slipping away in the live count. They still have quite a bit of time to work with, but I mean, at this point, you're just bleeding lives. You need to get a chain of kills down or a new strategy at some point. You see number 1 in Phantom trying to come around the back of their spawn. If that works, that could be their entrance here, but Manitoba, meanwhile, is just cutting everything down in that B area of the map. It's all up to Phantom.
We're seeing more of a regular defensive round from the Manitoba Mallards. This is kind of what you want to see. They know where they're spawning. Minnesota Floppr not taking a lot of routes. Like you said, they were being fed at that bottom red area, and I mean, they ate up all those kills. You can see the lives remaining 5-18 right now, which is not what you want to see if you're a Minnesota Floppr fan. 5 seconds left to go. Not sure anybody from Minnesota is going to make it to that point. They will not. Manitoba Mallards close out another round, make it 2-1 for them at the true championship point now, 1 round away from being the Gold South champions.
Yeah, Manitoba looking to win this control and add another percentage or two to that statistic. Manitoba really just absolutely not only took the win out of Minnesota's sails, just kind of cut them down like completely. Minnesota, whatever was shown in that first round, just not able to show up in that round number 3. Now Minnesota, good news is you are defending. It is considered the easier position to be on, but Minnesota, if you mess up here, it might be game over.
It most certainly might be. Minnesota Floppr gotta really batten down the hatches, put on their seatbelts, because they got a ride ahead of them indeed. 2 players on that 8 point for now, C-Test and Zen. Done a pretty good job of shutting down the Manitoba Mallards off the break here, but the kills still going into their favor. The kill feed has been green, it feels like, ever since the Minnesota Floppr captured that 8 point last round, and it has bled over to this round as well. Manitoba Mallards playing some very fantastic Call of Duty ever since that point.
Yeah, Manitoba Mallards just seeing kills and getting them. Now Minnesota defending that B site. Manitoba now in the position that Minnesota was in last round, trying to figure out what to do here. You see number 5 maybe flanking around, but Manitoba getting some kills off of that point one by one. If Zen could get another one, that'd be big. Casual goes down at the hands of C-Test. You got 2 more Minnesota members left on the point. You've got some Manitoba members making it mixy in the spawn area there. Mr. Wolf is doing his job. Minnesota still on the point for now, but if Zen could pop out some kills, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Minnesota, though, defending well so far. Actually not. 3 go down in a second, and Manitoba now has control over B. Minnesota, they've got to rush to it.
They most certainly are. Manitoba Mallards could close it out right here. They just got to find one more wave of kills. They got 1 player on the point only, and Minnesota Floppr do a great job of flooding them out. Player 6 still around. The cruise missile gets called in. It's going to be a kaboom or the coffee, but it doesn't find anything off the back of it. Manitoba, they have a few more pushes to make. Minnesota, they are ready for them, but some of these arrows are a little bit farther away than you'd like them to be. Jayski, though, picks up a kill in that middle side of the map. That relieves some of that pressure, but now player 5 versus player 4 is everything. Minnesota, they do a great job of picking up those kills. They just got to do a little bit more of that. A minute remaining before we get to this round 5.
Minute remaining. I will point out, though, the one thing Manitoba has that Minnesota didn't last round is at least an even kill count. They still have some time. Minnesota now starting to feel themselves a little bit, taking a position that they know Manitoba's going to flood through. Nasty goes down over there in that red kind of balcony area, but Minnesota still has a solid perimeter around the point. Phantom goes down. That kind of exposes them. Jayski responds, though. Hub responds on Jayski. Now you have 2 Minnesota members in back the area. Manitoba is approaching, but Minnesota is all over it. Manitoba is just going down, down, down. Hub might be able to get in the point, not able to do so. Minnesota is all over the point. 19 seconds left. Lives aren't going to come into play. Manitoba has to get on this point now. Minnesota defending it quite well. Just players all over the point. Manitoba knows they got to run right at it. No time for smart routes, and we're down in the kill feed. That's going to be the round. Minnesota stays alive for a round number 5.
1 more round to go at the bare minimum, Destin. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't keeping a track of those ticks, so I don't know who's going to have that defensive end, but it'll be a surprise to everybody when it comes through, unless you were keeping track in the chat. Phantom having a fantastic game thus far. 22 and 18, being exactly where he needs to be at all times. Minnesota Floppr with their backs against the wall. Manitoba Mallards with a little bit more breathing room, because if they lose this map, you got 2 more opportunities to close out the series. It is going to be Minnesota on that offensive end. Jayski, 29 and 23. Casual, 9 and 24. You're going to want to see him turn up in this round 5. Because round 5 is when it matters most. You can throw everything else out the window. And this offense, it looks like it's going to be a B push.
Looks like it's going to be a B push indeed. Minnesota mixing it up from what we've seen so far. Has been A heavy to start. Minnesota, though, they understand that Manitoba is just ready for them. You see Manitoba maybe wrap around towards an A, but they cut down and cross casual. The best POV in the game gets a two-piece on the B, but goes immediately right down. At least Minnesota is able to stock the clock on A, though. You got to deal with Pub, who might be feeling himself for a flank here as he pushes up. Just looking, Minnesota though doing really great, getting the kills on A. There's stacking the point. Manitoba has solid control of B. They are approaching at A, but Manitoba, if they could just defend a little bit longer, that A point is going their way. Looks like they'll be able to do it.
Yeah, and Minnesota doing the easy part. They've shown that they are very capable. J-Ski, wow. On a 4 streak, they've been very capable at finding those A points. The problem at times has been finding the B point. But there is a fair bit of pressure right now. Big kill out of Zen right there. On a casual at that bottom mid area. Phantom, though, in a very solid position. JC gets cut down. The turtling from Manitoba is working out. You got Nasty picking up those spawners. And that does cause a fair bit of chaos. You may see the Minnesota Floppr push at this point now. This is going to be a good opportunity for them.
It's going to be a good opportunity for them indeed. Although Nasty turns his back, the spawners are flooding in once again. Manitoba is putting up a good defense. Phantom gets one. Phantom does not get another. Manitoba, 3 players on the point. Nasty's still alive, but has removed themselves from that spawn area. We'll get a kill from the side, but Manitoba, they are all over that B side of the map. You stop the clock, even lives, not the worst of scenarios, but you gotta get some kills on the Manitoba here. Minnesota not able to do so. Zen goes down, but 3 Minnesota players goes down in return. Manitoba is putting up the defense they need. Minnesota has got to be sweating bullets right about now.
They most certainly are. I mean, this is where heroes are made. This is where championships are made here in situations like this. 50 seconds left on the clock. Lives almost tied. Big 3 down for the Minnesota Floppr. This is their route to sprint onto that hill, and you can see them doing it right now. 3 stacked onto that point. Manitoba Mallards are going to be able to defend the area, but Phantom's still picking up kills. 2 players here from Manitoba around to maybe fight for it. It's going to be Wolf against the world. He's the last opportunity for Manitoba to stay alive here. He's able to find 2. That may buy them enough time, and it does. Phantom's there too. He is able to find 1, but they're still around. They flood back in. They stay alive. 35 seconds to get 1 tick, Destin.
45 seconds to get 1 tick. Manitoba is swatting down flies, but they just keep coming in. Minnesota, they at least want to stop the clock. They are at the front here. Manitoba, you have C-Test trying to come around. We'll get this player from behind, but Minnesota still is in that dumpster area. Minnesota has 2 in the front here. C-Test needs to get these kills. It's 4v2. The last 2 Minnesota members sealed the deal. They win the round. They win the map. And maybe we have a reverse sweep on our hands. Minnesota fighting down to the very last second. They have that winner's mentality now. They have someone in their sails. Map 4 is going to be a baller.
Everybody to the Call of Duty Rec League. Here we are, map 4. Let me fill you in if you missed out on everything thus far. We got the Manitoba Mallards up 2-1 in the series. They were up 2-0 and they were unable to close out the game 3. So here we are, sub-base HP, and if this goes anywhere near the way that the last hardpoint went, boy, Dustin, is it not going to be a close one, or it will be a close one.
Map 4s are so crucial. I think there's a clip of Scum talking about it. If you're the team that's up and you lose this and you go down to even in the score, in the series count, that is just a heartbreaking feeling. Manitoba definitely want to avoid that happening. Currently in a good position to do so. They have 10 points over Minnesota. Going to be 15. We know how crucial every little point is between these 2 teams, but Minnesota, they're keeping up with their past behavior, not letting a second go unwasted. They're going to P2 now. Minnesota breaks in, does a great break in actually. Manitoba now got to figure out how to get in. They do get 3 kills. That's going to help them, but Minnesota is spawning right quick, right next to the point.
Phantom needs to make a play here, doesn't find anything. Now the Minnesota Floppr from the back spawns are going to have to flood on in and maybe find a couple of these kills, but it looks like they're unable to do so thus far. Zen and Pub doing a fantastic job of locking down this hill. They find all the kills. Minnesota Floppr now spawn out. They should be able to read this shortly. It does not look like they are, so Pub gets shut down. The trophy's dropped. Now you got to start thinking of that rotation to the P3 at that back tunnel area. can see Wolf starting to worry about it just a little bit, but Manitoba Mallards, they're running up that score so far. The scrap time might go the way of the Floppr. They do have some reinforcements ready for this push. Let's just see which direction these kills go.
Yeah, look at these teams just not letting scrap time go uncontested. Manitoba doesn't even want to step on the point. They just want to get that Minnesota player off it. They do. Minnesota, though, focused on this P number 3. Minnesota all over the place. They have the positioning. Manitoba, if they win the gunfights, they could do it. But Casual and J-Ski combine to get 2 Manitoba players down. C-Test will respond, but still a little bit of a mountain to climb here as Minnesota still spawning here. C-Test trying to get that player out of that corner. J-Ski, though, gonna go down to C-Test. The cruise missile comes in from Zen, feeling a little bit confident, but kills his own teammate. Minnesota gonna be picked off this P3. J-Ski, the only one left. He will get the kill, but you just wasted a cruise missile if you're Manitoba. Minnesota has been pretty much dominating that P3. Manitoba thinking about P4, but really not able to make anything happen on P3 here.
And of course, the scrap time should tie the game here. You also have Casual here, which is such a big member right now. He does fall, so that's kind of a tough situation. You may want him to stay alive in that situation. Now it's going to be J-Ski picking up his job. Minnesota Floppr going to stop worrying about that old time, start worrying about the new time. This P4 can be a money hill if you play it right. Manitoba Mallards, you're going to want to lock this down, but they got a couple more kills to get. You see Zen posted up all the way in the back, and JC's able to find one, does not find a second, but the team shots are there onto the other players. Wolf playing ring around the rosy right now with this Casual, and the Renetti off the building. I mean, good grief, Justin, everything's going on here.
Yeah, we're getting certainly a banger in more ways than one here. Minnesota taking over that P4 point now. Manitoba on the back foot. Minnesota spawning there. Manitoba trying to just approach. A Casual goes down. Still a strong front here on the side of Minnesota. Surely P5 is going to come into focus soon, and it might be with that 2-piece on Manitoba. Manitoba now moving around to that P number 5. Minnesota, though, just having their way with P number 4. A good P number 3, a good P number 4. Manitoba can take the lead with a good P number 5, but if Minnesota gets this one, Manitoba might be in trouble for a map number 5 here.
P5 is going to be heavily contested for at the time being. You see player 3 on that point. That's going to be C-Test, but a lot of Minnesota Floppr around. Casual picking up that mid side of the map, and they find that second player. C-Test staying alive for a moment, which is so impactful right here. As long as you pick up this time. Wolf there for the assistance. Phantom, though, with the strike. Now they're stuck in this garage area. All of the reinforcements know exactly where these players are, and Phantom has taken a route. Player 2, though, sniffs it out. That's going to be Wolf with that Wolf-like sniffer. J-Ski with the kills right there. 23 seconds left on the clock, and Minnesota Floppr, they're trying to run away with this one, but per hard point in this series, things are still close.
I think they're still very close. Minnesota doing a good job. We got to check Pub's PC. What the hell is that? Pub with the Renetti does get a kill, or does not get a kill, but makes that P5 hill contested. Manitoba get a little bit of scrap time, but Minnesota, they're holding up pretty well here. Now onto the P1. Manitoba maybe falling a little bit behind their map 1 performance. Minnesota just looking all over that P side of the map. Manitoba currently has P2 spawns. They're going to want to keep it. You see Minnesota maybe trying to reach around that bottom area to maybe contest it. Manitoba going to fly, send 3 members to this P1, maybe a last-ditch opportunity before the time becomes not worth it. Manitoba will take over, though. You see Minnesota now spawning at P number 2. Minnesota also wipes out Manitoba on the hill. Minnesota is actually having a lot of good things come their way this map number 4.
Yeah, most certainly is. I mean, you look at that scoreboard, and you wouldn't really expect Minnesota Floppr to be up 50 points right now. You got Casual 15 and 10, but everybody else negative. So it's been a team effort, and that's kind of what we were talking about them in the past, of what they are prowess at. I mean, they're doing such a good job of holding this Manitoba Mallards roster so far back. I mean, P2's about to pop, and Manitoba are nowhere near the 50-yard line.
Yeah, Manitoba nowhere near the 50-yard line. They're trying to approach, but Minnesota looking out that P2 window, they're going to get it. Wolf is trying to just kind of run around but is maybe don't know how successful he's going to
Oh
be.
boy.
3 Minnesota members go down as I say that. Last one is nasty on the point, but just not able to deal with the 2v1. Manitoba takes control of the hill. They've got 72 points to make up though. Manitoba now actually spawning there, I think. Looks like they're set to maybe get the remainder of this hill. Minnesota, you could see them kind of turning for P3, still trying to put up a fight. It's all up to Phantom, but Manitoba maybe content with the scrap time here. Phantom still not giving up. Eventually does go down. Manitoba gets the scrap time. They're moving to P number 3, but Minnesota trying to have another good setup on this hill like they did last rotation. Maybe could get in within winning territory. But, you know, Manitoba, this is now where legends are made. They have to get a good 60 seconds. Minnesota, though, just getting everything.
Casual sitting at 18 and 13 right now, maybe going to show why he could potentially be the best POV in the lobby. 46 seconds left on the clock. Minnesota can't win it here, but boy, they can get darn close. 2 Minnesota players near that point, and the spawns are going to be out. You see the rest of those players spawn at the P2 area, so you're gonna have to fight for it. And Manitoba make the break happen. It was kind of a must-break scenario. Now the game becomes potentially back into their favor if they can find the rest of this time. 23 seconds left on that clock, and Minnesota is gonna have to chalk it at some point, but they do find 3 kills right there. Phantom with the final one. They're fighting for the scrap time, but Zen's gonna pick them up. That does allow for an easy rotation for the Minnesota guys. They have them exactly where they want them. They just got to lock down this money hill, but one break, things become very dangerous.
Things become very dangerous. Gotta say that last player on that P3 on the side of Minnesota doing a good job of just pushing that toe back on the spawn. Minnesota, though, getting that, standing still in that P number 4. You have number 2 and Wolf trying to maybe secure some of the spawns. I don't know if the players know he's here. He could get a good angle onto Nasty. Casual as well. He's going to have to get some good luck here. Nasty is able to get him out of the spawn. You have Manitoba approaching from the front, but Phantom is doing a good job of defending that P4 area. Minnesota can win it here. Manitoba has to give it those all. C-Test shooting through the wall. They're not able to get a kill. Minnesota holding firm in their positioning. Manitoba, all the pressure in the world.
Most certainly. 19 seconds left on that clock. Like you said, they can still win it here, but Wolf with a big 2-piece right there to buy themselves a lifeline. Still a tall hill for the Manitoba Mallards, but we've seen crazier comebacks happen on sub base, maybe even in this championship week alone. The hill's going to pop, and Minnesota Floppr are going to be there, but the kills still potentially in the favor of the Manitoba Mallards for a moment, but they're not moving quick enough. 9 seconds left on the clock, and you see they're going to have to start flying, but the garage pressure is there. 2 players left. One more wave for the Minnesota Floppr to send it to a map 5, and they do it. Minnesota Floppr, they're here to play, Destin, and that's why they sent us to a map 5 here today in the championships of the Gold Premade South Division.
75% is the statistic?
75.
75%. Well,
Here we are. All the marbles are on the table. Map 5 of the Gold Premade South Championship.
Oh,
and 10 Knights drawn into a 2-piece. Good grief. I mean, what a start.
Yeah, we couldn't even get through the intro, and Manitoba's already making moves. Minnesota now on the complete back foot. They got to pick up the bomb, and Manitoba is just circling around them like sharks. Minnesota, if they make one wrong step, they're going to come into the line of sight of Manitoba here. J-Ski goes down. It's all up to Phantom, trying to be a ghost on the map, but, I mean, you've got 4 Manitoba just looking at you. Phantom does what he can, but he can't do much. Manitoba wins that round number 1 in lightning quick speed, asserting a little bit of dominance there.
Most certainly. And, I mean, that's the way you want to start things out, especially on the defensive end for Manitoba. They lose a rough game 4. They're on the brink of being reverse swept. You got to start out the game 5 on the right foot, and that's exactly how you want to do it. Zen, getting the gunny high, hitting a good timing, finding a good spot. And Minnesota Floppr don't pick up a kill in the round. So now you're kind of looking at them to say, what are you guys going to show us on the defensive end? Manitoba, which way are they going to go with it? Another question on the clock. Looks like they're going to trusty old B bomb, but Minnesota Floppr, they might be ready for it.
They
Oh,
might indeed be ready for with a grenade over the wall. Zen goes down. They at least know that the offensive team is attacking B. C-Test tries to get an angle, but just goes down instead. Now it's Minnesota, the one up 4-2. Kind of curious how those remaining two Minnesota members haven't wrapped around. Manitoba a little bit split here. You see number 5 in pub trying to check mid, trying to watch for the flank, but Manitoba planned it all around the map, just not moving a muscle. They know all they got to do is wait for one of these Manitoba members to just let them know their position, give them a little bit of information. You see them checking everything. Nasty goes down,
oh.
able to get a very important kill, but Minnesota now knows that the B hit has not changed.
Player 4 pinching around too. That's going to be casual. I'm not sure they're going to be ready for it. They do have some sort of an idea. Wolf doesn't look for it. Oh, and Casual's got 2 in front of him. Is able to pick up 1. Now a 1v3 for Wolf, but Casual finds both of them. Minnesota Floppr even it up here at 1. And I mean, hey, Dustin, it might be a little early to tell, but I feel like we got a round 11 on our hands.
Statistically, it appears like things are heading to around 11. I'll give you that. I mean, really great round out of Minnesota. One thing they also do is stop any potential streaks on the side of Manitoba after that round number 1 where nobody goes down. Now, Minnesota knows for sure that everybody on Manitoba is starting from scratch here. You do have Casual on a 2 streak, maybe looking to increase that a little bit here in Minnesota, though. Just kind of rushing through mid-map, maybe trying to get a little bit of information. Nasty catches Wolf here on that AC side of the map. Wolf maybe, though, giving some information. Minnesota's in the middle here. Bomb carrier, though, heading to B. Minnesota looking to get into attack mode pretty soon.
Oh, no. Kind of an awkward smoke. Not sure they can get that bomb down with that. They didn't have the map control that they wanted, but they do take this bridge side area as Manitoba was a little bit weary to take that space. Now you don't really have an angle on the bomb. Player 6 and Wolf might be able to spot it, but Phantom has the information like, hey, there's nobody top church. I think you guys should be able to get this bomb down. Wolf is kind of an issue right here. Both of these teams so worried about their situations at hand, but Jayski starting to finally put that bomb down. C-Test doesn't have the angle, but Wolf might. They get the bomb down. Phantom with the first blood. The trade is in, though. Now a 3v3 situation, and you can see those arrows start to activate. Casual picks up another one in mid. Now a 3v2 situation. It's Pub and Zen trying to retake this bridge side, and now as Phantom picks up Zen, it's going to be a very tall order for Pub, but we've seen crazier things happen.
Seen crazier things happen, but Pub is surrounded on every single side. He tries to challenge Jayski, but goes down instead. Minnesota is up 2-1 in the map, already matching their total round count in the first S&D. Minnesota is on fire here. They want the reverse sweep to come to fruition. They are practically tasting their rings at this point.
I like that stat out of you, Dustin. They already matched their game 2 round count. So this is a different team than the one we saw before. Casual on a 3 streak, Jayski on a 2. See if they can get something off of the back of that. Manitoba Mallards, eyes go to them because we did that back and forth. Both defenses win to open things up. But now, Minnesota, they close out that offense and things can get a little bit crazy here. Wolf gets the information on Jayski and now he opts to hit a route. I mean, this is a good spot to be in if you are player 6, but Nasty picking up that first blood. Wolf now he really needs to make a play.
Wolf really needs to make a play, getting on that top AC side of the map, just trying to find anyone, but checking a lot of spots, not finding anything. Zen, though, peeks and gets shot at from that B side of the map. But Jayski goes down at the hands of Pub. Maybe that bomb gets a chance to go down. Zen, the planning. Pub getting shot in that top D kind of area. Bomb goes down. Minnesota now looking to defuse. And number 2, Nasty, just kind of sitting down in the spawn. Now pushing up a little could be a problem. But you see Minnesota just getting on every side of the point. Phantom gets a kill. Casual spots Wolf here. Spots Zen here. Casual kills Zen. Wolf is the only player around this top church area. Going to defend the point. He's got to look because the defuse is coming in. Wolf looks just in time. It's a 1v1, and Wolf knows Nasty is desperate to get on that bomb. Nasty surveying the top church area, but just misses Wolf, who has remained there, but Wolf drops down. Nessie gets to kill, but not enough time to defuse. Wolf played that perfectly. Now, tied 2-2 in the map.
Manitoba Mallards, they answer. They get that bomb down. And Nasty doesn't read the situation correctly. I can't blame him. He thinks that player top is going to go toward bottom and check from there, but no. They stick around. They play that corner. And the timing goes into their favor. Now a 2-2 game. Looks like we're on our way to around 11 here, Destin. I'm not so sure, but hey, let's see if we can make it that far. Minnesota Floppr now on deck. Maybe get a round win. Manitoba, though, their defenses have looked pretty solid. Let's see if the nades come through. I don't think they will. No nades connect from Minnesota either. Nasty picking up this angle. Let's see if they can get a successful B push in yet again, because they have a lot of information on these Manitoba players.
A lot of information on these Manitoba players. Minnesota just kind of bunched up here. They want to make this B push work. Manitoba, maybe seeing that smoke. You see that number 8 just waiting for smoke to clear, checks the bomb, but he sees some players hiding on their bridge, trades out 1-for-1, delays the bomb plant just a little bit. Manitoba, you see that number 6 doing that same thing that I believe Nasty was doing in that previous round, just creeping around. He might be able to catch number 1 here on the flank.
Ooh, can Wolf find the timing? C-Test does. Find that kill onto Casual right there. That bomb not going to be going down just yet. Only 27 seconds left on the clock. You're in a 3v2 scenario, and you got to get that bomb down. Nasty gets spotted. Now it's Nasty against the rest. 3v1 now for Nasty. Manitoba Mallards looking to take this lead in the search and destroy, and I'm pretty sure they will. Tries to put in some shots, but Wolf cleans that one up. 3-2 now. Manitoba Mallards clutch up another defense.
3-2. Minnesota definitely doesn't want to go 4-2, like in round number 1. That's another statistic for you.
True.
That's another statistic for you. See,
Mm-hmm.
I keep track of statistics. You know, when you're putting money on the line, statistics matter. You know.
You know, we're not supposed to bet on CRL matches, Dustin. That's against
I don't get paid. What am I gonna do? Get fired?
Okay, I mean, you bring up some solid points here, Dustin. You bring up some solid points. Manitoba Mallards opting to go toward B this time around, but Casual with the Shotzzy jump. I'm not sure they're going to be prepared for this. They are, but it doesn't matter. They are able to find the first blood. I think they hear him jump up there, so tough situation for Casual. May have been able to make something different happen if they don't get that audio cue. Minute left on the clock to get this bomb down, and player 3 has snuck through, so they have the information they want. Let's see if the arrows, though. Let's see if the arrows match what's going on the map. Manitoba Mallards taking that A side, but still the tall order is getting that bomb down.
Tall order getting that bomb down. Indeed, Manitoba having some success in the kill department. As I say that, Zen goes down and makes it 2-for-2. A little bit of an awkward situation for the bomb planner here. Both teams not wanting to make a move, but J-Ski just gets a kill onto Pub from the bottom red area. Now C-Test just kind of full rotating around the map. He's got to hit that bomb up, but Minnesota not letting it go. C-Test just walks right in perfectly into red balcony, able to get one, but not both. And there we go, tied up again, 3v3. We're sailing straight for around 11.
Oh, and look at how one-shot Nasty is. I mean, that is almost an incredible moment. I was going to point out in the middle of that clutch, like, that opportunity seems so unlikely for C-Test to come out on top. But if you want to win a championship, or a championship just in general, like, this is just Call of Duty as a broader spectrum. Like, if you want to win the Game 5 that you want to win, one of those clutches has to go your way. You need one big clutch, and it puts you over top. Let's see if one of those happens in these next coming rounds. 3-3 now. Looks like we're on our way to around 11, Destin. I don't know about you, but Minnesota Floppr, they find another first blood on the board, and that B zone, that's going to be open, but Minnesota, they've elected themselves toward this A side of the map.
Minnesota elected themselves towards this A side of the map. Manitoba not really ready for a flank or for a rotation if Minnesota decides to do it. Wolf, though, misses the jump. He doesn't have his Air Jordans on. Minnesota still kind of prodding around his A point. Not rotating yet, but some good coverage on the map. You see Minnesota trying to get a Manitoba member to strike, and eventually C-Test does, gets kicked out. Wolf on the top AC side, getting a good read on A, but Minnesota trying to wrap this to B. Manitoba is reading the wrap pretty well, but they've got 4 members to deal with. Finally, a member of Minnesota goes down in J-Ski, and now the bomb is going down on B, but Wolf going to turn as soon as this bomb gets planted, hopefully get a kill, but still, Manitoba outnumbered.
Player 1, that's going to be Phantom, able to pick up a big trade right there to make it a 2v1 scenario. Pub in a 1v2 spot right now with all the cards stacked against him. You got 1 player bridge, you got 1 player, wrapping around mid to make sure nothing, fishy goes on. 24 seconds left on the clock, and this route might not generate you enough time to make this clutch happen. Pub in a very tough scenario, 6-4 so far. Playing a good game, but this round is going to go the way of the Minnesota Floppr. They're going to be up 4-3 here in just a moment.
Yeah, Pub just checking every corner, but not really paying any attention to the bomb. That defuse was not happening, whether or not he gets killed there, but he does end up going down, a valiant sacrifice for the cause. But Minnesota now 4-3, up once again in the round count. Another round here would be so crucial. Put them at that 5-3 scoreline, put them 1 round away from the reverse sweep. Manitoba, it's time to put up or shut up.
Put up or shut up. That's the name of the game. Can you find this offensive win is the real question. Going toward that A site and mid yet again. Make it mid, as they just wanted to throw those tacks toward mid or make it A. Sorry about that, everybody. 4-3 now. Minute 15 left on the clock. Of course, you got so much time to work with. Manitoba, though, they have no map control. Casual has this bottom red locked down. You're going to have to make jump out top. Looks like Casual, not really sure what's going on. Able to pick up the first blood. Can you get away with your life? No. Wolf chases him down. Now, 3v3 scenario. Wolf 5-5 so far. Having a fantastic game. Nasty, though. Trying to pick up a big kill. Gets the info, but unable to find shots. 45 seconds left now. Half of that time has run down. You're nowhere near getting this bomb to a place where it needs to be, but a big pick out of Wolf there might open it up.
Big pick out of Wolf there. Now that bomb is surely going to go down at A. J-Ski goes down as well. Manitoba is their round to lose here. Bomb goes down. Phantom on top AC just trying to find a Manitoba member, but they are all in hiding, all looking at that bomb. Phantom does spot a Minnesota member on that little bus stop area, but does go down into long shots. And really good round out of Manitoba here. I thought at one point Minnesota was going to take it away, especially as Manitoba was struggling to get on the A-bomb side. Minnesota was in good positioning for a wrap if it were to happen, but Manitoba just sticks to their guns, hits that A-bomb side, and just makes it happen.
Most certainly make it happen. I don't know about you, Destin. I feel like this has potential to go toward round 11.
We're getting there.
I feel like I've said that
we're
before.
getting there. Statistically, we're getting there.
Statistically, of course, it's just a question of who puts themselves at match point, because one of these two teams will. They will find the 5th round on the board. It's just a matter of who does it. I'm not sure exactly who that is. That's going to be player 6, Wolf, position themselves underneath that scaffolding. Day 1 corner, but a powerful one at that to maybe shut down this bomb. But Wolf gets spotted, forced to run away. J-Ski has no idea, and Wolf doesn't either. They're right next to each other right here. This could change everything. A first blood, but Wolf going to run right behind him. I mean, this is just the type of timings that happen in championships now, don't they, Destin?
These are exactly the type of timings that happen in
championships. Oh my gosh. Okay. You finally get the kill.
A little bit of an awkward situation there in A-Mad. Wolf not able to sniff him out, but eventually does get the kill. B-bomb goes down, though, as Manitoba's playing in the playground over there. Manitoba looking for a retake. Minnesota positioned quite well. Manitoba, again, a little bit hesitant, but Phantom just gets the back of Wolf as he peeks out that top 3rd area. Pub right next to Wolf, trying to get Phantom. He does. He avenges his teammate. He gets nasty. It's a 1v1. Casual. Not a lot of time left to work with for Pub. Casual might just hide until the bomb. think Casual saw him go under the bridge. It doesn't matter though. Pub doesn't have the time. He spent it all searching for Casual. Casual played it perfectly. Minnesota is up 5-4. Minnesota is 1 round away from the reverse sweep.
The reverse sweep for the championship, Destin. I mean, boy, would it be so sweet now, wouldn't it? Minnesota Floppr from the depths. They get slammed in the S&D, to put it lightly, but now they bring it all the way back. A close control that they just edge out to come out on top, to keep the series alive. A dominant HP. And now here we are at match point in the Search and Destroy in the Gold Premade South Division Championships. Don't forget. 5-4 now is the lead. Manitoba, though, they have an opportunity to send it to that round 11. Wolf making a play, but the first blood goes their way. Minnesota Floppr, the first blood, and that's the bomb, Destin. Manitoba, it's going to be a tall order to make this round happen, but if you want to win a championship, you're going to have to do it.
Gonna have to do it, but Pub responds onto Casual. Best POV in the game. It goes down. Minnesota all over the place here. Manitoba might just get picked on just by an odd angle from a Minnesota player here. And exactly that happens. Zen goes down. That bomb is still on the ground here. J-Ski reveals his location, though. C-Test is drooling for a kill here, but J-Ski just pops right out, gets that pistol kill. C-Test, it's only up to Pub now in a 3v1 on the attacking side. You don't have a lot of time to work with. Nasty spots him. He goes out the door, and that is it. Minnesota Floppr win the round. They win the series. They reverse sweep to make them the gold champions.
The Gold Premade South champions they are, and like you said, Destin, they make it happen in a reverse sweep.